This brings us to a new question: when it's time to calculate. Here is the rule. You should start calculating when there is contact between your pieces and your opponent's pieces, or when you're going to try and create such contact. In the game, black played knight g5. This move creates contact between the knights, and it means that the position became tactical and it requires calculation. Knight takes, queen g4. Here is another tactical position. So black should focus his attention mainly on calculation and should not think much about general ideas or plans. Queen c1, king g2, queen c4. When you can see that the pieces attack each other, or when someone makes forcing moves, then you can realize that it is definitely a tactical situation. Queen took, pawn took on c4, then rook d8. The rook is going to make check on d1, or to go inside somewhere on the d3. So rook d3 was played. Now black is going to attack with the move rook b3, and the position is going to remain tactical. Black won this game pretty soon thereafter. Okay, we have spent a good amount of time talking about a focus. In any position you should calculate variations and think about general principles. I'm just saying that you should focus most of your attention only on one of these things, depending on the type of position you have in front of you. Here is the next rule. When you feel that your position can become winning or losing, you should take as much time as you need. It's black's turn now. The position is very sharp. Black has an extra piece while white is attacking. Now's the critical moment for black. If he is able to defend successfully, he will win. If black doesn't find a good way to defend, then he will lose quickly. So time doesn't matter too much here. Black should think as long as he needs to find the best defensive move. In the game, black really did the best move rook h8, and he got the winning position just after the next few moves. Bishop f4, bishop b4. Now white can't play king e2 because of knight c3 fork, so black's winning. By the way, at the starting position of this example, the move rook h8 was really the only way for black to play for a win. Thus black was obliged to find it, spending as much time as necessary. Okay, these were some ideas about time conservation during a practical game. During this video, I've given you some useful tools. If you want to apply them in your games, you should draw attention to the time aspect. You should control your time while playing a game. It's very important. Chess players often underestimate how long have they thought about a move. Players usually pay attention on the clock only when they feel that they are running out of time. However, at this point it's already too late. If you control your time constantly, you will never find yourself in time trouble. There are two more practical recommendations which will help you to save time. And here is the first one. I recommend you look at the clock every time when you press the clock button. At this point, you should realize two things. The first one, how long you have thought about your last move. At the beginning of the lesson, we discussed that you need to plan an average time spending for a single move. So when you look at the clock, you should detect whether your last move took too much time or not. And the second one, compare your time indication with your opponent's time. It's extremely important not to spend more time than your opponent. If both you and your opponent are in a time trouble, that's okay. You're still in the same situation. A really unacceptable situation is when you are in a time trouble while your opponent has enough time. This is a very difficult situation. That's why sometimes you may think for a long time, but not longer than your opponent. It's a very important practical rule. Also, I would like to recommend that you use your opponent's time. This seems obvious, but a lot of chess players still walk around while their opponents are thinking. Okay, I gave you quite a lot of recommendations regarding effective time management. If you use it in your practice, you will never be in a time trouble. However, what if you suddenly appear in a time trouble? What should you do then? Here I also have some recommendations for you. And here is the first one. Simplify the position. Exchange pawns and pieces to make it simpler. This will reduce your chances for a blunder. The second item. Don't start tactical complications. It's similar with the previous thing. The third one. Accumulate some time before starting complications. Maybe this recommendation is not so clear to you. Let's look at a concrete example. It's White's turn. White certainly has a huge advantage. He is a pawn up and has two connected passed pawns on the queen side. The only problem for White was that he was down on time. What should the player do in such situation? By the way, it's important to note that the time control was 90 minutes plus 30 seconds per move. The solution is that here White should do nothing and just collect some time. White may play rook d1, he even may play king b1 and then go back king c2. The bottom line is this: White should quickly make moves which doesn't change anything. Finally, White will collect a few extra minutes, getting 30 seconds for every move. Only then White may start realizing his plan. However, in the game, White decided to play aggressively and realized his plan immediately. So he played knight d6 and then b4. Black suddenly responded bishop d5. The situation became very complex, and of course it was hard for White to calculate the variations properly due to the time lag. If White had a few extra minutes, he would probably find the move rook c3, which saves the advantage. Since White hadn't enough time, he played knight b5 and got a losing position after rook takes c4. This example shows how it is important to accumulate time before starting complications. Let's look again at these recommendations to remember them better. If you follow these three simple recommendations, you will play well, even in a time trouble. Now you know how to manage your time effectively during a practical game. So it's time to practice these ideas, do it, and enjoy your success. Thanks for your attention. Talk to you soon in the next videos. Bye.